Okay, welcome everybody to the Referral Challenge Q&A Mastermind call for Friday, March 30th. I'm going to have to keep this one pretty tight today. Got to get out of here. Our oldest, Hannah, is running for Georgia Tech tonight at University of Florida, which is about an hour and a half up the road in Gainesville from us. Big race, and some of our friends are going too, whose daughter is also in the race. And so we got to hit the road. She's running the 1500 tonight, and then she runs the 4x8 tomorrow. So yeah, we can't miss that. Committee's like, we will not. So we're getting that on time. Just updates. Been working the last few days on or last week on revising local by referral. The homepage is completely changed, and I think much cleaner and sort of more professional looking. But I also think probably more effective lead generation. Opt-in squeeze page essentially, but most of all working on the back end, the training component, which we all agreed was vastly too long and a little too confusing the way it was set up originally. So I've been cleaning that up. I've tightened it down into 6 videos. Just 2 of them are posted now. The other 4 I'll get posted this weekend. It's 6 videos, less than 10 minutes each, so under 60 minutes total. Put content under each video so people can refer to it in the written format too. Makes it much easier to navigate and get exactly what you need out of it, and also I think comprehend the information better. So that's good. And then as soon as that is done, I'll put out the SOP for local by referral, which I'm hoping to have done, as I mentioned to you, Eric, by Monday. But if not, it'll be just a couple days beyond that. But get that SOP out, and then it's done. Local by referral is done. And at that point, I'm moving into major marketing mode because, man, I haven't been selling for 4 or 5 months, and I need some money to buy some food. So, gonna move into major marketing mode and driving people into the local by referral group and to the local by referral website as to get folks in. That's going to be sort of the front door for everything that we do in this business. And I think will be very, very effective, not only for us as a company, but of course, most importantly, to help you guys, those of you who want to build local by referral teams. It'll be a very, very effective mechanism that distinguishes us dramatically from everybody else out there like BNI or any other leads or networking group. It's a dramatic distinction, and so it's exciting. Anyway, that's the update on my end. Mr. Crocker, good to see you. Any updates on your end? Anything you want to announce?
No, not a thing. Just happy to be here among the great men who are leading lives and changing destinies, you know.
Absolutely. All right, good. Well, let's dig into it then. Keith, going to start with you. Just give us an update on how you're doing. I know you asked a couple questions on the Facebook group I haven't gotten to yet. I think you got a few bits of feedback, but if you want additional clarification or anything else you want to talk about, just let us know.
Yeah, I don't remember what I asked on Facebook, so that's all right.
I think it was technical stuff about creating the videos. Yeah.
I was having some weird stuff going on with my microphone, like in PowerPoint or whatever. It just wouldn't record my voice, but I actually figured that out. And then I don't remember who it was that answered my question, but he gave me a lot of information about like Snagit. I think is one of some software he uses to do screen captures and things like that. So I think I got all that pretty much worked out. So now my big thing is I want to get that video done for the Get Fit Asheville page. I think it was thinking about how to point the domain to the page, and he explained that as well. So I think I've got all that figured out now. So that way I can get Fit Asheville, get that going live, here in the next week or 2, hopefully. Because I feel like that's going to probably be a part of the local by referral. Once all that's going, it's all kind of all work together. I figured, so I need to have that up and running. So.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely that will be. We definitely want to integrate those two things, and that's great. I do want to talk real quick about the Get Fit Your Town, the SmartStart group strategy, because I was thinking, originally, and this is just, I'm just going to sort of stream of thought or share my thoughts with you guys, and I'd like to get some feedback from you. When I originally conceived it, I thought, hey, look at how CrossFit blew up when they started posting their WOD, their workout of the day. And that, there was a lot of other things that went into it, but that helped a lot. People were excited by that. Nowadays, and so I thought, well, that makes good sense. Why don't we, do that, post a workout of the day type thing? But I've seen a lot recently of these people like on Instagram, on Facebook, fitness people, celebrities, and others who are into fitness are posting all their workouts every day. So I'm getting some feedback. Who am I getting that from? I'm going to mute you, Wayne. I think it might be you. So what I'm getting at is that I don't know that the workout of the day is the best solution. And it could easily be adapted to something like this. What I was thinking might be even more compelling, but I'd like your feedback on this, is keeping the SmartStart theme and all that. So we're not making any dramatic change, but maybe as opposed to giving them a workout of the day, give them a SmartStart like 15 or 21 day program that is, hey, this is the smart way to start to launch any fitness program. And it can just be generally based on, whatever your target market is, 30 to 50-year-old, relatively deconditioned, whatever your target market is. So it would be like a program for them. So it has a finite start or a finite time frame, which is always compelling to people. And it would be exercise only, and therefore give you the opportunity to immediately sell nutrition, because you can always, of course, make the argument, which is valid, that nutrition is such a huge part of it. So they're getting the exercise program, and you sell the nutrition. And then once they're done with that 21 day or whatever, then of course you continue on with the other things, the weekly charity workouts, and you could post whatever additional content you feel, weekly challenges or things like that, as we've discussed before. So just want to throw that out there and see if you guys have any thoughts on that and what you think about that idea, or any other ways that we can maybe make SmartStart even more appealing. Any thoughts?
How would, so when you'd have people joining at different times, there would be some kind of intro when someone joins. You'd send them a link or a PDF or whatever format you're putting that out in. If it was a 21-day jumpstart program or whatever, or SmartStart program. Is that what you're thinking?
Great question. And yeah, that's one of the logistical issues that have to be worked out. But yeah, I think it could be evergreen, so they could start at any time.
Yeah.
If they join your group, then you have the landing page. Well, you send them to gather their info. When they enter it puts them in an autoresponder sequence to deliver the program. So it doesn't matter when, just delivers it immediately upon entering so you get them to join your group. And then when they join the group, then they would have the access to that link.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And frankly, if I were doing it, I'd use something like Coach Catalyst too, to maybe to deliver that thing, because the more I hear about this, and I've met Trevor before, but I met Kane just recently, and hearing all the success stories of people who are using it, it's sticky. It's getting good. It's keeping people in and seems to be working very well. And you can build out any program you want inside of their software. So anyway, something to think about. But yeah, Keith, I think you just have it evergreen. Whenever they join, boom, they go right into the program, and they can report, and they should. And that would be part of the program, is to get them to say, hey, give us an update today or every day, or how you're doing, or on certain benchmarks every 3 days, whatever you want.
I mean, I like the idea. Because you're giving them a ton of value right off the bat, so I think that's good for sure. On top of all the content you're posting in there. So, I think it's a good idea.
I think it's easy.
Also, on Coach Catalyst, I think Pro Diets is about to be intertwined with Coach Catalyst, Rick Streb's thing.
Beautiful. I knew they were working on it, so that'd be great. Yeah.
I think they're gonna have a whole video tutorial series in there, and again, then you've got the nutritional accountability along with Pro Diet's already in there, from what I understand. So
yeah.
That would be cool. So.
Well, that would be powerful. Anyway, it's something to think about. I think what has been delivered right now, you can certainly one of the key things, one of the big lessons in business is the need to publish and then iterate, get stuff out there. And then as you get feedback, you start iterating and improving and optimizing. And I've known that for my entire career, but yet I still resist it and I push back. And sometimes I just try and make things perfect right up front, and that never works. So anyway, I'm learning the hard way again, that just got to get out there and get things rolling, and then you dial it in. And I think, Keith, I'm just glad that you're rolling with it and we'll get it dialed in.
Yeah. Well, it only took me a year, so.
Yeah. Well,
on top of that, the other thing, I've got an administrative assistant now. It's only like 5 hours a week, but that's just where we were at. But we've built out our onboarding process for leads, leading into an FBO, and then the process for when they're in the FBO. And then we've just got all the stuff, and this is in Mike's product, the ROI multiplier. Now it's like the first 90 days of a new member. And so my next step is I'm going to take my head trainer and train her on how to do that, so that when somebody becomes a new member, they get turned over to her. She's going to be kind of the client experience specialist, or whatever you want to call it. But she'll be, I'm still there obviously, but she'll become kind of the go-to person for people wants to become members, and I'm going to handle all the lead generation up front. That's kind of what we're looking at right now.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good. It's nice when you can delegate, get stuff off your plate, and know it's being executed correctly.
Right. So yeah, we've got the checklist, and so what we did, there's the admin home base that it was in Mike's thing. We created a head trainer home base as well. So it'll have the links to all her different checklists and different stuff like that she needs to, so she knows where to go. She can just pull it up every day, and it says, here's what you got to do, and walks her through it. So
that's it's awesome stuff, man. Good for you.
Yeah. And the other side of it, not only do you have confidence that they have the information they need to move forward with clarity, but you also have accountability, because they can never say, I don't know. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So that's really what I've been spending a lot of my time on is getting all that up and running. Cause I just, I knew I needed better systems. I've been talking about that forever. So when Mike's product came out, I was like, this is perfect. And I just hired my admin. So it was like perfect timing on everything. So now like I said, my biggest thing is I've got to find time to sit down with my head trainer and the admin, the three of us, and just kind of go through and say, here's what you're going to be doing from now on, and just make sure she understands everything. But that's, again, the way it's set up, I don't think it'd probably take an hour to sit her down and say, here's what you got to do, and here's where this stuff is, and let's go. So
it's beautiful. I mean, it's really good. So you've been working a lot on the business, as opposed to which is good. You're building that infrastructure, those systems, and that's high ROI work. It's long-term ROI. It's not immediate ROI, but long-term, that's
right. Yeah. And then like I said, then I want to get the SmartStart or the Get Fit Asheville page really up and running, all those pieces in place. So once the local by referral is ready to go, I can start, just getting on that too. I'm not going to, me, I've been hammering on that for a while, so I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Get going, so.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Glad to hear it. Real quick, just to go back to what we started with, though, regarding your technical questions that were on I wanted to make sure you're aware of Screencast-O-Matic. That's what Aaron and I use to do screencast capture, and it's free.
Okay.
Snagit's great, but I don't know. I haven't used Snagit in years now, but they've been around for a long time. TechSmith does good stuff, but look at Screencast-O-Matic, very simple to use, and I like it a lot. I know Aaron does too.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, good deal. Okay, excellent. One other thing, Keith, I wanted, the video that we did 2 weeks ago, the meeting that we had, our Q&A call, I lost it. I lost the video recording and wasn't able to post it. And that's when you talked about GymBuildr. Right? It's called GymBuildr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I
Well, you know, I came on after the call. I had the time wrong. Remember that? So So I don't think our conversation was recorded at all. I think you'd already stopped the recording.
You're right. You're right. So that it doesn't even matter. But I wanted you to mention that in case other folks, because it sounds like it's working well for you. And in case other folks haven't heard of it, I just wanted to, if you could tell a brief story about how you use them and what they do for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I found out about this from another fitness professional, but there's a company called GymBuildr, and it's DR, like GymBuildr, GymBuildr. So you can look them up, but they run 6-week challenges for you. And essentially you hire them on, they do all the Facebook and Instagram marketing. I mean, they pay for it. It's out of their pocket. And then they drive people to to sign up for, success sessions with you, on a Google, a Gmail account that they set up for you. You conduct the interviews, you sell them the 6-week challenge. You actually take the payments through their online format. But then you run the show. And so we did 3 last year, and we've got our 4th one running right now. Like this time we signed up 30 women for it, and it's $250 for them to join. Now the one downfall is GymBuildr gets 60% of that. So they're getting $150, you're getting $100, but I didn't have to do any marketing. I mean, I didn't have to spend money on marketing. And I signed up 30 women, so that's $3,000 that I made, just sitting down with them for 15 minutes and selling them the program. So, I mean, it just kind of depends on how you want to look at it,
How's your retention been with that? You retaining a lot of them?
We typically, last year, I don't know, I actually don't know what we're going to retain from this one, but what we did, the course of the 3 last year was 47%, I believe. It was 46, 47%. So it wasn't terrible. We changed some things this time to see if we can't get a better conversion rate. One of the things we added in was weekly phone calls. So like we're either myself or my head trainers calling everybody, checking in with them, making sure, especially ones that, now by week 4 aren't showing up, trying to find out where they're at and get them back engaged. So I'll let you guys know, how many we actually sign out of it. But, you end up, we probably interviewed 60 people, signed up 30, and then hopefully we'll keep another 12 to 15, something like that on the back end. But
yeah, you keep that though you keep those people for a year. That's pretty good.
I was telling Erik this, I use Rick Streb's fast action offer. I sign them up and say, if you go, if you commit to a year, you get a discount, which is actually a discount off of our raised prices, so, so the people who sign up for a year. And I just recently had, from the one we did last year at this time, those people's years memberships were coming up due and they renewed again. So I actually am getting those people for 2 years. So,
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good.
And actually that reminds me, Erik, one other thing I'm looking at doing, and this is something that Rick was talking about on a different call, is maybe changing our evergreen offer into being a 6-week test drive. That's something he's been doing. And I think some other people are doing. We've got like a 2-week trial, but with how popular the 6-week challenges are, he's starting to do a 6-week test drive and actually even shared his page for it on a different call. So I'm thinking about trying that and just seeing how it works,
Listen, we know from years of doing this, I've been selling marketing tools and systems to fitness business owners for almost 20 years now. And so we've tested a lot of offers over that period of time. And we know unequivocally that a fixed term offer will outperform an open-ended offer every day. So I think it's very smart to, rather than saying, hey, just join my gym, you're saying, take my 6-week test drive, and that's evergreen, always on. And then you can run your periodic promotions, your other challenges, at certain times throughout the year. But I think it's very wise, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I just, 2 weeks doesn't give somebody really a good enough, I mean, they can decide whether or not they like the gym, but they have no idea if it's really going to work for them. But I mean, I can pretty much guarantee if they follow the program, they're going to have amazing results by the end of the 6 weeks. And why wouldn't they stay?
Yeah.
We had one woman at the week 3 check-in, and she'd already lost 11.5 pounds. So,
Wow.
we can get. I can pretty much guarantee she'll be a member. I can't imagine why she wouldn't join. So
So she was I would imagine when they're real large, if they just do a few smart things, can't they drop dramatic? Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's how. What is that? The Biggest Loser. That's how they did it. Get people who are 350 pounds and 50 pounds a week.
Just stop eating after 8 p.m. You'll lose pounds next week. Yeah.
Add
That's great.
to it, and you'll lose another pound.
Yeah. Well, the thing. Anyway, I thank you for mentioning the GymBuildr, and I wanted folks to know about that. I'm not pushing it or anything, but the way you described it, it sounded cool to me. Certainly they take 60%, but Mike asked the key question, and that's retention. And then, of course, the other metric you'd want to look at is lifetime value, or even just annual value. What's their value to you over the first year that they're with you, as compared to another client who comes in other ways.
Yeah.
So you have those 2 metrics will be telling, and if as long as they're not bad, there's a lot to like about that, because as you said, you're not having to create landing pages, advertising, worry about all that, the stuff that goes into all that, or pay an agency to do it for you. Instead, you're just given a percentage of sales. It's the Groupon model for Facebook advertising, essentially. So
it is, but the price point's $250, so it's not like you're not getting people in here for $50. It's
no doubt.
They set the price.
They do set the price, and I don't know if the price is different depending on your market, or if it's just $250 no matter who's running it. I'm not sure.
Does it matter? Do they tell you what you have to include in that 6 weeks?
No.
Like whether you're doing 2 training sessions, 3 training sessions, unlimited training sessions?
Well, and they actually suggest, only having certain days and times that's available for it. We just let people have unlimited access to our entire schedule. I mean, I don't want to limit people to only coming on certain days and certain times, but that is up to you as the gym owner. You get to define those parameters as far as what the program looks like once they're in the door. If you're already running 6-week challenges, you could literally just run it exactly like you're running it now, with your automated email responses or whatever. I mean, I put everybody on pro diets when they walk in the door, and, and now we've got the supplement sales attached to that. So I think I've sold, I don't know, $300 or $400 worth of supplements, that kind of stuff. So
I love it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. 2 things. And number 1, you're right. I misspoke. I shouldn't have said it's a Groupon model. It's the Groupon sales model, in that you're paying, you're not coming out of pocket up front. They're taking a percentage of the revenue on the back end. And that I like that. But what it doesn't have is the shitty side of Groupon, which is, as you said, deeply, deeply discounted services. So it's good. The second thing is, congratulations on doing the supplement thing. I will tell you, and I think anybody who's generated a lot of revenue from supplement sales will tell you, it takes time to build, but boy, once it builds, it can be substantial. I mean, you could cover your mortgage, every month with that, which would be, nice.
Yeah. That's what Rick and Jason have, that the ultimate supplement sales system. Again, they provide a ton of content and a lot of support and a lot of help. I mean, you guys know Rick; he's always there to help you. So it's a good program. But again, I knew it would be just like what we do here. It's going to take traction. You just got to look at the long game. But I mean, I started running the content and stuff, and so I started selling supplements the first week. So I mean, it works.
Yeah. That's great. That's fantastic.
Jumping back to Rick before we move on, and don't lose this recording, Erik, because Rick, I want you to listen to this. You're so grown up. Now you're too good for us. You don't even show up to our meetings anymore. Dude, what is the deal? We're talking about you. We're bragging about you. We love you. We bring you up. And you walk off. We never see you again. Prodigal son.
I'm making a note that Aaron called out Rick at the
25-minute mark.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I know Rick did. He's had some conflicts. He's doing so much now that he had some conflicts. But he always does his best to be on here. right. Conflicts. Yeah. My conflict was I was sleeping. Right. Anyway, hopefully we'll get him back. He adds a tremendous value to these calls. It's really awesome. All right, Keith. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Erik, let's jump over to you, brother. Let us know how things are going. Any updates on this? I certainly would love to hear about how the sale of the business is progressing. If you got any leads on that, and also, anything else you want to discuss.
Yeah, we got. Well, I did have lunch with Andrea Tornes, who also works with Camellia. So she was kind of interested, but I think that ship has sailed. But we do have a guy walking through in a couple weeks, or actually this week, probably doing a walkthrough that's interested. So I talked to my broker about the criteria, and he agreed. And he said, "Yeah, it's good you have a mastermind group like that." So he no pushback from him, and so he's been just out there working the channel. So I haven't heard a lot from him. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I think I went through that's why I went through all the winners trainings. I actually didn't think they were too bad. I mean, I liked, there's a lot there, but I mean, I liked them, and I think I'm excited to get have a new toy to play with for marketing. We need something new, Yeah. We looked at using a Facebook ads guy that my chiropractor was using with a lot of success, and we were doing bot stuff and everything. We got some leads. They're getting harder to convert off Facebook. So we need other things to do. But yeah, I've been booking some public speaking. I hit the Rotary circuit. I've got a boxing club I've been doing nutrition talks with. So we're doing a lot of more public speaking now. And actually, believe it or not, Thumbtack's been productive.
You say that every time. That's awesome.
I don't know why people, I guess I've kind of like, it's kind of like big game hunting, every once in a while you get a trophy that shows up there. But yeah, we got that going. I'm going to run the referral challenge that we did last year, the best gift ever one. I think we would run that. We're getting some good referral traction, and I'm seeing that as I go down my marketing tracker. So that's going to be first and foremost. And then we're running an 8-week challenge right now too. So got plenty to keep us busy. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm selling one of my rental properties. I got another one ready to go. So I got an offer today. I signed a purchase agreement, a cash offer. So I'm getting that part of my business career is starting to shut the door on that. So I'll be a little more focused on what's next. So, but yeah, other than that, it's just a lot of stuff to manage, and just trying to make sure I'm taking care of myself, getting the workouts in and eating good. And yeah, I'm looking to just run the ball with this, the local leads by referral. I think that I got a hit list already put together of people I'm going to go after, to get into this group. So locally that I've established good business thing. Some of them are my BNI members too, that I've done business with that I really like. So.
Well, that's a perfect target to go after, the BNI folks, because they already get it. They know all, and you put a good marketing system in front of them. They'll be like, "Yep, I get it. I'm on." Yeah, no, that's great, man. That's great. A couple things. Excited to hear about your broker not giving you too much push or any pushback on the adaptations. That's wonderful. The public speaking that you talked about, I think that's outstanding. As I've always said, the best way to sell is belly to belly, but the second best way is when you're on stage. So what kind of offer? I know it's primarily educational, probably what you're doing, but are you making an offer at the end? And if so, what kind of offer?
It depends on, I just have the old gold rush, 12 weeks to, transform your body and your life. And then it's just, I just basically the offer, because a lot of times you go into Rotary, obviously they don't want you to sell. So I just said, hey, if you liked what I had to say today and you'd like me to follow up with you, fill out. And I have the 2 checks. One is just like, hey, I want to get your content. The other one's, I'd like to set up and find out how I can transform my body and my life or whatever. There's it's basically the old gold rush form we used back in the MPE days.
Yeah.
I use that. And I have a nutrition one. So I went into a boxing club. Obviously I'm not talking about fitness, but I have a real similar nutrition one. So really, it's just driving them to a consult because, like you said, belly to belly. If I can get them face to face, that was the key: is get their contact information, get them in the list, and then try to get them in for a consult, either a nutrition or a full-fledged training consult, depending on where I'm at. So that's what I've been trying to do. So.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that sounds great. Wayne asked, are you able to capture email contact information when you do public speaking? Yeah. I know you're handing out the form, and so you're asking for contact info on the form, right? Yeah.
No, I'm able to capture everything. I got their email, their address, everything's on there. Yeah. And that's why, most of them will check too. They want to kind of see what you're all about, so they want content. So yeah, they go for the email. Actually, one guy last week I did a speech. He put just the email. He just didn't put his name on there. He put his email. So that's usually the first thing they'll put, the least threatening thing. But yeah, we always try to get their contact info. And yeah, I mean, I use pretty much it's the Hud Aldred 5 steps to transform your body and life, a little modified for me, so it's that's one I use the most. So.
Yeah. Excellent. That's, that was the very first product that I created to launch NPE with, was Gold Rush. That's how I launched it.
I won an iPod, I think, when we first had that contest. Remember you guys had a contest? It was the first round of us that did that. Yeah. I still do one every year. I actually am I got to jump off early. I got to go sign up a gal from Gold Rush here. We did it for Greg Stern's ministry, but we're in that follow-up process. We got 2 of them out of that Gold Rush this year, and it was smaller. It's not as big as when we first did it. The first time we did it, I think we had 75 people, but now we average about 30 people at them. But, it helps the charity, and it's another way to get a public speaking gig. You just create your own. So. Yeah,
no doubt. Wayne, I'll describe Gold Rush in just a second, but real quick, I want to ask Erik, how'd you get the Rotary Club speaking gigs? How'd you manage that? That was through a contact?
Relentless. You know what? I'll just tell you, it's relentless follow-up. So I basically did it like this. I emailed them and I said, hey, I know sometimes you guys have a spot that's open, and I love to speak on health and fitness. I've spoken at Rotaries before. I do a lot of public speaking. I love doing it. I know the protocol. And so they have most of them have a really easy landing page, just like a contact form. And I hit them once, it's just kind of like following up on a lead anyway. And then if I don't hear from them a week later, I hit them again. And then third time is the guilt trip, where it's like, oh, I tried to reach out for you a couple of times. I go, maybe you don't need somebody right now. And I kind of lay a little bit of a guilt trip, kind of like your letter, like, did I piss you off? Yeah. And by that time, usually I get either a yay or nay. So it's just relentless follow-up. It's nothing fancy. It's emailing. They usually have a contact form, and then I just have a template I hit them with. And I have a second one and third one, and if it takes a fourth one. But it was relentless, just follow-up. And I got 2. I got one next month. I had one the other day. So, yeah. Rotaries are good. They usually want to wait a couple of years, and usually some of my clients are in Rotary, and I'll just work my angle on them too. One of them is actually going to try to get me into one of them that's not responding right now, so I just went through her. But yeah, Rotaries are
awesome.
Good.
Yeah, it is, and a great description of how you do it. I mean, the fortune is always in the follow up. Because that's what nobody else will do. Nobody else will do the follow up. If you do the follow up, you can change your business and your life. One other question: have you recorded yourself doing a presentation? Have you recorded yourself at one of these Rotary Club talks?
No, I should though. I will actually bring my intern with and have her do that next month.
Definitely do that, and get that, get some clips, talk to some video editor and make a little 90-second montage of highlights and put it up on your website as hire me as a public speaker kind of thing or whatever. And that way you can demonstrate your expertise and drive potential other Rotary clubs. Hey, just take a look. Here's my video clip, whatever.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I know last year I did one for Lakeville where it's a really big one. There's like 70 members in the town I'm in. And a pastor there that I know, he recorded me and he put it up on social media. He didn't ask him to, but I got a really good client out of that. So it just brings that to remembrance. Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. All right. Excellent, Erik. Good stuff. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So real quick, Wayne, Gold Rush was a product that showed you how to create essentially partner. It's something that we're incorporating in a local by referral. It's you and your other business owner partners, usually about 3 or 4 other business owners, non-competitive, all marketing to put butts in seats at an event where you might use a church or something like that, some low cost place where you can put people into it, and promise to educate them about certain things. It could be about fitness, finances, any number of things. And so it's just a strategic alliance joint venture, I guess, is a good way to describe it. Does that make sense, or do you need additional? Yeah.
So, Erik, before you move on, I want to ask Mr. Peacock a follow-up question on your speaking. Were you able to take, or do they allow you to take extra material to hand out, or walk the listener through what happens if they become a speaker?
Typically, what you mean, like what these guys would if they become a speaker?
Yeah. So in other words, your experience, I mean, how do you monetize is ultimately the end question. How do you monetize the speaking engagement?
The speaking end of it, sometimes I get paid for it. Other times it's just getting them to a consult. That's the biggest idea. It's just another way for me. It's either I get paid or it's free marketing. For me, it's a lot better than paying for a Facebook ad or something when I can get in front of people and drive them to a consult.
All right, maybe I'm not asking the question correctly. Let me retry that. So you go, what do you speak on when you arrive, right? Is it a sales pitch that here I am, and you're pounding your hands on your chest the whole time, come to my gym, blah, blah, or are you bringing a value? Just exactly what is your talk about, and how do you then do a call to action if you do?
Well, it's basically like an auto closer, basically. So you build the problem up. I talk about the problems. I talk about the steps and the solutions, and then I position myself as a solution. I always have social proof. So I show people I've worked with, and then I have a couple objection handling things. This is basically like the gold rush thing, and I just put a thing up there. I have the PowerPoint basically for it, but now is not the right time. It's too expensive, handle all those objections and address those. And then at the end, I have a quote and a call to action. I'm like, so it's basically, here's the problems, why people fail. Here's the 5-step solution. It's kind of an auto closer type, basically, presentation always. When then here's the social proof of who I've worked with, and then here's some objection handling at the end, So, and then basically it is a sales presentation without it being a sales presentation. I disguise it as an educational presentation, but
yeah, those are the most effective.
Right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's good. And then he hands out a form at the end that they can complete to get additional information. So it's just like, how you'd sell from the stage at a big event. You're handing out that order form, that type of thing.
Yeah. So the reason I asked is because I had joined a Toastmaster speaking club, and they pretty much tell you what to talk about, right? And you have to create a speech around it, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I was wondering about that.
Well, I was privileged enough to be an NP when they came out with that product, and it's still good. It's like every time I go to Rotary, I still use it. I just tweak it a little bit and maybe change the title a little bit, but it's always a fresh bunch if you hit them up every few years. And even when I did one for a dentist office too. So I work my BNI contacts a lot of times too. That's one of my commercials in BNI. It's not always, hey, can you guys get me some speaking gigs? I want to go on tour, and they'll get them for me. So, small businesses and stuff too are good ones because there's a lot of businesses that want to do wellness programs. And if you go in there and talk to their staff, that's always an easy one too. So I had a dentist office at a happy hour. It was about 25 people the beginning of this month actually, and I pulled 8 new leads out of it. 8 good leads, and one of them actually I got to follow up here in a couple of days. She wanted to wait about a month. They had like a new puppy or something they bought and didn't have the money, but she says I really want to do something, but give me a month to adjust to this expense. So. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just another great way to grab leads and get in front of people. And sometimes I've had people call me up 6 months later and said, you gave me a speech 6 months ago, and I really liked what you had to say, and now I'm ready, So it's just building that list. So.
Amen. Yeah, that's good. It's lead generation. It's excellent. All right, excellent. Thank you very much, Erik. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I got to go. Talk to you later.
Okay, man. Have a great weekend. Let me see, Mike. Let's go up to you real quick. Or not real quick. I have as much time as you. Well, not as much. We gotta wrap this up within 20 minutes. So we got Mike and Wayne to cover. Definitely share with the folks. Well, I think Wayne might have been the only one that hadn't heard. Maybe Aaron too, about Hunter. And then also love to hear an update on the software if you can share anything new about that. And then of course have the regular business going.
Yeah. So it's been pretty crazy. I mean, it's been a great time and also a tough time for a lot of stuff business-wise, but good from a child's standpoint. My son was born healthy, wife's healthy, which is great. He was 8 pounds, 8 ounces, and healthy. So, I mean, I can't ask for more than that, right? From a business standpoint, so my wife came home on a Monday, that vote went to town in terms of the lease. Yeah. And we lost by 9 votes, which means that we're out. So Been working my ass off really to try to find a good spot with a good deal. Struggling right now. I don't know what the timetable is in terms of when I got to get out. They haven't said to me yet.
So clarify for me here, Mike. They went to the vote, and you say you're out. You're out by willful volition, right? They still wanted you to hang around. Yes?
Yeah. Well, they wanted me to, but I turned it down.
Right. Okay.
And 9 votes out of how many?
Volition, but still,
how many votes were cast?
260 something.
Wow. So it was tight.
60 something. You know, I watched it that night on, because I'm not a town resident, so I can't vote. But I watched it on. It was on Facebook Live with one of the local radio stations, and lots of lies told by the selectmen, and lots of lies. So it's unfortunate. You know, we had more than 9 people that said they would be there that didn't show up. So we should have won. Yeah, it was. I mean, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason. So from that standpoint, you know, we're I don't know. We gotta do something. So I'm looking at a bunch of different places, 4 different ones. 3 of them have already been like no-goes, you know, and been frustrating, you know, because they've been handcuffed, and I don't know what the timetable is going to be. 6 months, 8 months is what they had kind of said before would probably be the case. The guy next door to me that, you know, has the locker rooms and everything, he's told me that he's essentially at the baseball training facility. He told me that he's folding. He's closing down shop. So he's going to be out in 2 months because his lease is up in 2 months. So he's gone, and he pays the utilities for the locker room over there that we use. So I don't know if we're going to be out of hot water or what's going to happen with that in 2 months. So wow. I don't know, man. It's been frustrating, like I said, but I've been working with an agent that put me in my first building. She's been pretty good. It's just a matter of, you know, I found a good spot, a really nice spot. It's a lot more expensive than what I had for a deal here. But the problem is that it's in another different town, and they have septic there. So he's worried about the showers and all that stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. So I'm waiting for word back from that. But then I also had another issue here. I don't want to talk about too loud because I have employees in the other room. But just came to my attention yesterday, actually, that my head coach was sending inappropriate pictures to one of my admin, and she feels uncomfortable about it. And she came to me and was emotional. So I actually I read the whole conversation between them, and there was definitely a little bit on her end too, like in it. But both signed the company handbook, sexual harassment, all those things on. And so now I'm like, so I mean, I've never had that issue before that I've had to deal with. And on top of it, like I said, it's my head coach. The guy's a great coach. But I know I gotta set an example. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Actually, I talked with.
Is it egregious? Is it really bad, or is it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean.
Yeah.
The thing is too, like, you know, there was that talk before, and then there was still talk afterwards. Like there was never anything. Like never. Like if I just say this, if I was a juror on a trial and I was listening to a case and they read the whole thing to me, I would say it wasn't like out of the blue kind of thing. It was a conversation that led that way. So
how long has it been going on, Mike?
So it actually it happened when I was in Florida for the mastermind. That's when it happened. It happened one more time after that. It hasn't happened in like 3 weeks. But she's been really weird, and I called her in. Like, what's going on? Like, something's not right. She hasn't been working out really. And so that's when she broke down and told me. And she's like, oh, I don't want him to get fired. It just makes me feel really uncomfortable. And I don't know. Like, and so I was like, well, tell me a little bit more about it. And she says, I don't know if maybe I let him on. And I was like, I said, you have the conversation? And I read the whole thing, and it was, like I said, it was back and forth. Like, I just don't know.
All right, so listen to me, buddy. Your very next step is to call a lawyer.
I did. So my brother-in-law is the CFO of a law firm, a big law firm, local one, who's very interested in the software, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is one positive. So I talked with him about it and explained to him the situation. And obviously, I definitely have to at least write him up, right? He talked with one of the attorneys there and also the head of the HR, and they said that it doesn't mean that he has to be terminated, but that it needs to be documented that going forward, I need to get so it happened through Facebook Messenger, and I need to set up a strict policy in terms of, I need to have it in writing to cover my ass in terms of coaches doing direct messaging with any clients, even though you can't technically, clients or employees or whatever, even though you can't technically, the point that they brought to my attention was, what if it was a member? What if that happened with one of your members? Then you could be in trouble, right? And what if it was one of our again, like I said, the conversation is going back and forth, and I mean, I'm taking it to the extreme, but now what if, and this is what they brought to my attention, what if it was, an 18-year-old girl that went to, and they told their dad, like, what does that look like? So here's a guy you're leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table to walk away because of core values, but then you get this happening inside of your facility. So
the only thing that tops that is if she's under 18.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's really getting bad, right?
So I mean, they said put that in place, the whole, and I think, you know what too, I need to do a better job on my end of, like, they sign like the employee handbook and all that stuff when they first come on board, but we don't do any training. So we've been here for a couple of years and I haven't done one training. Like, it never gets talked about. You know what I mean? So I think that having regular discussions about that and the repercussions and the fact that it leads to termination of employment needs to happen as well. I think it'll keep it fresh in everybody's head that it's like not acceptable.
Yeah.
So what they had said was, because originally I was going to tell her I want the entire conversation printed out. I wanted it. I was going to go in the file in case it led to a termination, and then they tried doing like I don't know, man. So they just said have it all in writing, signed. It's got to be like I don't know, man. I don't know what to do, to be honest with you.
Well, listen, dude.
Couldn't come at a worse time,
Well, right. It's just life's hitting you all at once, no doubt about it. But buddy, listen, how many ways can this come back and bite you as the owner? Right? It can come back to bite you in many ways, right? If this continues, or if she has some kind of an ongoing emotional problem, right? It's going to come back to bite you. But the worst part of it is if she doesn't feel that you're protecting her.
Well, so I'm friendly with her, like before her been coming on as an admin, we've been friends. And she specifically said to me, like I don't want anything. So I don't want anything to happen. So I got to get that in writing too. Like, in terms of, she was like adamant that he said something to him first and all that stuff, because she never said to stop.
Yeah, just CYA, my friend, just CYA.
Yeah, I agreed. And I think it's wise. Definitely talk to a lawyer. Cover your ass. It's even if that stuff. God, that sucks.
You ever had that happen? Anybody?
Yeah, I've never experienced anything like it. I can't. Anybody else? No. You know what you might want to do, Mike, is post in Virtual Fitness Mastermind in Pat's group and see, because you got a lot more fitness professionals there. I mean, you could certainly post in ours as well. Yeah, but I'm
going to post it in some of the other groups. I mean, it literally just came to me like late last night.
Yeah.
But I figured I'd be on the call today. Shoot it at you guys and see.
I definitely agree with Aaron, though. You got to talk to a lawyer.
I talked with him, and he went back and forth with the attorney. He said that I sent them over a copy of what our policy is, and I also sent them over our whatever you would call it, our disciplinary action sheet. And once I fill it out to send it over, they're going to make sure that he's going to have the attorney look at it, make sure everything's squared away, documented correctly.
While you're at it, see if there's some kind of insurance issue, sexual harassment. Make sure your insurance is up and ready, okay? And if it's not, bolster that quick. And beyond that, if there is a social media writer style insurance, I would do that as well, because if this thing hits the web, you want your butt covered, dude.
When you say hits the web, you mean in terms of what? So
I mean, if there becomes, people are crazy, Mike. They're idiots. And they're broken as broken gets. And, with everything from revenge porn to Facebook posts, slamming exes, and all it takes, guys, for one moment of frailty, frustration, drunkenness, depression.
That's exactly what that was, drunkenness.
And you know what? It's going to be type, hit, boom. And then before you know it, it's everywhere. And if your insurance will allow for a social media writer to help protect your business in case something like that just hits the fan, money well spent.
I'm looking at hiring an outside source to come in. They do like HR, they do like sexual harassment trainings and all that stuff. Getting the contact info for them now, because I'm thinking about making that a regular part of it. And I think that's part of it's on me in terms of, not running the tight ship in terms of that, just kind of taking it for granted, I think that had I been, like every year when I was an educator, every year it was discussed at least a couple of times during the year about the sexual harassment policy and all that stuff. And I think I need to do a better job of that. And the actual, the repercussions, like if this happens, there's like no excuses. This is a done deal. Like we don't non-tolerate to it.
Whatever you learn about this whole situation, just keep in mind that every problem is an opportunity. And this is, a couple things, there's probably multiple opportunities here, but one of them for sure is for you to build out a module into your software that covers this exact thing. And then it becomes another thing that you can market and, and share to help sell your software, because you can say, and you can tell a story. Look, here's how close I came to almost losing everything, blah, 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 whatever. So there's a marketing opportunity there to improve some things. And, there's probably other opportunities as well, but I think most of all, the opportunity to not have this happen again, because now that you're aware of how it can go.
Yeah. So I definitely, call him in.
You did?
No, not yet. I haven't yet. I was waiting to talk on this call. She reached out to me earlier today and said that she talked to him, and he said, "I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to give him if you felt uncomfortable, I'm really sorry. Like I didn't realize it made you feel uncomfortable. I'll just give him my 2 weeks and I'll end it." And she's like, "No, I don't want you to quit. I don't want you to fire. I don't want any of that. I just want you to know it made me feel uncomfortable. And I used to look up to you as like this woman trained with us. She was my friend originally before, but she's lost over 100 pounds with us. We've had a life-changing experience with her, for her. So,
well, yeah, it's a big deal. I have no idea, and this is just pure speculation, but I'm thinking, boy, wouldn't it be nice if you could just get some mediator in there and sit everybody down and have these two just say, "Hey, I'm sorry," and they both apologize to each other with misunderstanding and shake hands and kind of everything, life goes on kind of thing. But I still think you got to get all the legal stuff.
Yeah, I got to get the legal stuff done, and definitely needs to be addressed from a business standpoint in terms of knowing
well,
you could be gone still. I don't know.
Yeah.
Going back to your earlier comment that everything happens for a reason, it's true, but not everything's a good reason.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so to Erik's point, now that you've got lemons, make some lemonade, right? Make sure you get yourself covered. But from here, it does become an opportunity to share with other business owners how you can protect them with your software on how to, if you ever face this, here's what to do before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just make all things work together for the good is all I'm saying. It's not good that it's happening.
Yeah.
Let's make it good from here.
Yeah, I can't even think of somebody to refer you to talk to, but you might want to. I would reach out to Rick Streb. I'd reach out to Pat personally, and and just ask them if they have suggestions too, because
Yeah, I'm actually going to set up a call with Pat. I just it was crazy this morning. I was looking around at spots. I wanted to jump on this call. I figured I would just ask while I was on this call what everybody had to say and just kind of getting going. I was on the phone with like I said, my brother-in-law to hear what the attorneys had to say back and forth, and still getting more information from her, really. So I plan on doing all those things. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Guys, see the comments too. Wayne, thank you.
Well, keep us in the loop, man, and I'm sure you'll find the path forward through this stuff.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. It's just a bump in the road, man. Just a bump in the road. It just sucks that, when you're going through it, it's just like, especially with everything going on at home, my wife with the new baby, and you want to be there, and my mind is like, man, I got to make sure I cover my ass, That's the last thing I want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the good news is you're sitting on a multi-million-dollar insurance policy with your software, and that will all come, that will all work out. Everything will be.
I got a meeting tomorrow morning on that too. So making progress on that.
Awesome. I definitely want to hear more about that later, but let me get to Wayne, because we're going to need to wrap up at some, Wayne, no rush. We don't need to wrap up in 3 minutes or anything like that. I can
2.5
push. No. No, we're not going to rush. We're going to take as much time as needed. I told Camelia I'd leave by 3:30. So if you can be done in 30 minutes, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's good on my end. I feel sorry for Mike because, everything's been going good for me the past couple months, but it seems like it's all downhill for Mike. But it seems like that an insurance company would provide some kind of training like that, because they would want to reduce any lawsuits or anything. But I know when I was with the police department, you go through that training every year, how to use a fire extinguisher and sexual harassment, and you go through that stuff every year, no matter how redundant it is. But I think they do it because as a big company, they need to check that box that we've put our employees through this training. So then that kind of takes the responsibility off of them, off the leadership. Yeah. And that's probably what all of us need to do as business owners. But when you start out like a small business, I guess like most of us do, you don't think there's a need for it until something like this happens.
Yep. Very good point. And that's why I say build this thing into your software. It's just another selling point for you, because you're right, man. That's what every business needs to do. If you got even one employee, you need to cover your ass.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if go ahead. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I had been trying to do the Facebook marketing, because that's where most of our marketing is done. Myself for the 2 years that we've been open, but it was just getting overwhelming, and it wasn't working as good as it used to. So a lot of the other, Fit Body is a franchise. A lot of the other people have outsourced their marketing, but I kept thinking I can do it myself. I can save that money. I can do it myself. But it just got overwhelming and frustrating. So I decided to give in and let our headquarters run a promotion for us from March 1st through the 17th. And it brought in about 80 people on a 21-day promo. And it was a low barrier thing. It was only $57 for one person, or $77 and bring a buddy. So about half the money went to HQ because they opted in on the website. It went to them. If I got them in here first, then they could pay me first. So I still made some money on it, but and some of them are starting to end now. So, and it's turned out pretty good. There's quite a few people joining. I don't have any ending numbers yet, but I'll have that soon. But
so let me just interrupt for a second. So they're taking you don't have to pay up front on this. They're just taking a piece of the sale. They're taking half of all the sales?
No, the way they did this particular promotion is they set up the web page and everything, and if the person pays through the website, HQ keeps the money. But if it does have small print on there that, you know, or you can pay at the gym kind of thing, but it's, you know, it's kind of fine print. And sometimes people would call ahead to ask questions, and so then I would take that opportunity to say, hey, don't bother paying online. Come on in first and try out a boot camp. And so I ended up getting about half of the people paying us. That was good.
And so it's $57 for how long?
21 days.
57 for one person for 21 days, or 77 to bring a buddy. So it was like a bring a buddy kind of promotion.
Got it.
Yeah.
And our normal 21 days is $67. So it was a little bit of savings, but it brought in its fair share of people that I don't think is going to be able to end up affording a membership. So, you know, I could kind of tell that up front by talking to people, finding out where they work and stuff. And when they would ask questions about membership and you see the shock in their eyes that, you know, you could tell they probably wouldn't be able to afford it. But I'm still trying to deliver good service and make sure they see results and enjoy their time here. So anyway, I've decided that I'm going to start outsourcing my marketing, but I'm going to outsource it to a company that some of the other fit body owners use, and they get to keep all the money if it's collected online. So I'm looking forward to that. But
wait, so you're gonna go this first one, the one that you just described, was through the HQ, but you're gonna start using another outsourced provider that's not HQ, but it's the same setup. They keep all the money if somebody buys online.
No, I pay them a flat fee.
Oh,
and I pay the flat fee, and I get to keep the money.
Okay. So you pay a flat fee plus your ad spend.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. With the HQ deal, did you have to pay ad spend on that, or did they absorb ad spend?
I paid ad spend.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah. One of the things you ought to look at is, did you hear Keith talk about GymBuildr? Were you on when he talked about that? Yeah. You ought to give that a go too, I think, because, you know, I think if you talk to folks like Erin Lindauer, for example, she just comes to mind. There's a lot of them out there, but who've been through 4 or 5 different Facebook agencies or, you know, experts who run ads. They find that they're all about the same. Everybody, you know, can do a decent job, but none of them do a great job because things are always changing, and it's a constantly moving target, and it's just challenging to do. So I think anytime you can get out of not having to pay that flat advertising or that flat fee to retain them is a good thing, because some of them charge a lot, like $1,000 a month or so. How much is this person charging, or this company?
$1,200.
Yeah, $1,200 a month plus ad spend.
Yeah, but this guy's a little bit different. He's somebody that does marketing primarily just for fit bodies, and for some of the top producing fit bodies. And I always wondered how some of these guys run challenges and get, you know, 150 to 200 people in the door. And then I found out, well, all those people doing those kind of challenges are using this guy. And the most I've ever been able to get in the door for a challenge is like 50 people. So I figure if he can get those kind of results, then it's much better having somebody else do it than me.
Agreed, but ultimately that decision is determined by the metrics. You won't know until you've run it and everything. Right. But I'd say you got a real good chance to be successful because he's already proven himself with others. So awesome. Well, just watch your numbers, man. That's the most important thing, is watch those numbers.
And follow-up question I have for that, Wayne, is you know, since this guy is apparently doing nothing but, you know, fit bodies, what's his area exclusivity where, I mean, he doesn't have somebody 4 miles down the road that he's doing this for as well, does he? Or does he?
I don't think so.
So I would check on that bit. I mean, with $1,200 a month plus ad spend, I would like to know that, you know, he's not taking on the guy, you know, in the same zip code as I am and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, he verbally told me he wasn't, that he, respects your territory and wouldn't take on somebody that was close to you. But, that was just a verbal thing that he said.
Okay. That's good. Does Adrian use him? Do you know Adrian Shire?
I don't think so.
know. I don't think so.
Yeah. All right.
Everything else is good. I just got a couple of checkpoints that I was going to mention. There was a grad student that's been here since Christmas that is doing really good, pulling his weight and being like a head coach kind of person. And that's really taken the load off, allowing me to not have to be here every morning. And when you get a good night's sleep and you can just think so much clearer during the day and not feel like a trainer always on the floor, when you can actually act like a business owner, it feels so much different.
Oh, yeah.
So when he graduates in May, he's got a shot at getting a faculty position at the college where he's graduating from. So, of course, that's primary. But if he doesn't get that, he said this would be his secondary choice. So I've offered him a position here, and I've told him that I'll save it for him. Even if somebody else comes along better between now and then, if he wants it, then he's got it, because he's already been here for, by then, 5 months. So,
yeah.
He and everybody likes him, and he does a great job. So he's good. But even if he doesn't, there's been another member that just moved here from Florida that was going to a boot camp there, and she was enthusiastic, lost a lot of weight. She's getting her own certification, and she come in the doors with all this enthusiasm and things. And so she seemed like that, she could also be a person that could take on that kind of job. So, and then last week, I also put out a Facebook ad to hire part-time coaches or a possible full-time facility manager. And one person responded, and he was a newly certified personal trainer. And I brought him in, talked to him, and he's been training part-time. And he also has the great personality and seems like he would fit right in. So I think I have a couple backups in case the grad student doesn't pan out. So I feel relieved about that, because if he would have left, then I would be back at square one again and training 30-some sessions a week, and I don't want to do that again.
Right.
But everything's good to go.
That's beautiful, because that was, as you were telling me the story about the grad student, that's what I'm thinking in my head. What's your backup plan? Yeah. So you clearly have that base covered, and that's fantastic. Let me ask you about that ad that you ran in Facebook that secured the guy who's coming in and training out with you. Is that how much did it cost you to run that ad?
I didn't charge anything for it. If you do a post, I guess on your business page, somehow Facebook knows if they see the words in there, hiring or something, or hiring soon, it asks you, do you want to make this a hiring ad? And I guess they show it differently. So I just posted it on our business page and then shared it on a couple other pages. And one person responded, and it was him.
Wow. That's it. But so it didn't cost you anything.
No.
That's interesting.
Now, if you wanted to play with it, I think if you go to a business page and you start typing something about hiring soon, I guess Facebook recognizes some words in there. And when you hit post, they ask you, it looks like you're doing a post for hiring. Do you want to make this a hiring ad? And then I think they show it different, because then when they show it, they give people stuff to fill in, like contact information and schedule an appointment and things like that.
Excellent. So what was the call to action then on your ad? Was it just, hey, fill out this information and it comes to me, or how did that work?
Yeah, when somebody filled out the information, we got an email notification. That's the way it's set up. The hiring ad is set up that if somebody answers it, you get an email to whatever, you have your email set to, and it said you have someone just responded to your hiring ad.
See, this is beautiful. And it's number one, Facebook is apparently an advocate for businesses who want to hire, which is fantastic. They're facilitating that process, and it makes good sense. You can understand why they would do it. So we should leverage that. And I would, again, should be another thing on your monthly to-do thing, is just have this ad, and once a month run that ad, and just start collecting leads of potential people. So you've always got some leads. You can just respond back to me and say, hey, you know, I don't have an opening right now, but we might have one in the very near future, and I'd love to you know, interview you at some point or talk to you at some point, or I'll keep you on the list and let you know, blah, 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 whatever you want to do. But that way you're getting constant leads and you're not having to pay for it. And you know that it's obviously effective. It worked well for you the first time. So there's a lead gen system for your hiring. You know, that's beautiful. Yeah. All right. Well, good, man. I'm happy to hear it. Things are excellent. So when are you starting with the Facebook guy, the new guy?
April 1st.
Oh,
Monday.
Okay, good. Well, then you'll have, because love to hear how things go. Are you guys going to launch something immediately? Does he run ads for you consistently all month long?
No, the first promo he suggested doing was a 28-day special, and he said that they've had good results having people build weekly, $20 a week. So $20 registration and then $20 a week after it starts. So basically $100. I told him I was a little hesitant doing something so cheap with weekly payments, because anytime I've done something, broke it down into payments, it seemed to attract somebody that couldn't afford a normal membership to begin with. But but I'm going on faith, because he says, you know, this is what's worked with, you know, the bigger locations. So he suggested it. So that's what I'll try and see how it goes.
Yeah, and I think right now that's really your only source to go with is what he's telling you, and clearly he's an expert. I would imagine he's doing it for enough people. But one of the things you ought to look at doing is finding one of his clients that has demographics that are very similar to yours in Greenville, and reaching out and talking to them and just asking them specifically what's worked for them. Because this guy, your Facebook guy, he might have a lot of clients and he might not know the demographics all that well, and he might be just talking in general terms, but I would try and dial it in as specifically as you can based on your demographics. Mm-hmm. You know, it'd be good to have a conversation, I think. So that's something maybe worth asking him, is who else does he serve that has demographics very similar to yours?
It was another FitBody owner that referred me to him, and he owns 3 locations in Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he serves the same kind of demographic there that's in Greenville, North Carolina.
Beautiful. And he's having great success, and he's doing the 28-day thing.
Well, I don't know exactly which promo he's doing or where he's at, but he's been using them 3 years, and he swears by him, and he convinced me. He said, you have to talk to this guy. You're wasting your time and money trying to do this stuff yourself.
That's a hell of an endorsement. I would follow up then with the Roanoke guy and just say, hey, which promos have worked best for you? Because that way you get this thing dialed in quicker, you know?
Yeah. My only concern is, it sounds a little funny, but the guy in Roanoke has done like a 6-week challenge, and they can bring in like 150 to 200 people at one time for a challenge, and their facility isn't any different than mine. And my concern is, I've got some session times right now that are already full or close to being full. And I'm wondering how you all of a sudden accommodate an influx of people like that. I mean, sure, it just sounds right to add more times, but you can only fit so many time slots in that morning spot when people want to come in to work out before they go to work. And I need to make sure I don't piss off the members that I have with all of a sudden they got 20 other people trying to reserve for the session that they're used to coming to, and then now they can't come to boot camp.
Right.
It may be that I have to close off certain times that these new people can't come to that time because it's already full. That's one of the things I've heard other people do.
Well, and this, again, a problem is an opportunity. So here is, in terms of the build out of your marketing, it would be very cool if there was some feature on the landing page or the payment processing page where it shows you're leveraging scarcity, where it shows, hey, there's only 5 spots left at this time slot. There's only 8 at this time slot, blah, blah, blah. That would, that gets people to buy fast and make that, be firm about their decision to purchase. So there could be a way that could be incorporated in some way into the marketing itself. Other than that, I'm not sure how best to handle it. Aaron, you got any ideas, or Keith, you got any ideas on that?
So how big is your facility, Wayne?
About 2,500 square feet.
Oh, dude. Well, and it's a typical fit body boot camp, right?
Yeah.
All right. In terms of layout and all that, so it's open floor, right?
Yeah, just open floor. We can hold about 30 in a boot camp. Okay.
So at 2,500 feet, about 30. What's the spacing between persons at that point? I mean, you're not like in a CrossFit environment where you're dropping weights overhead, right?
No.
All right. So how many trainers do you have on the floor with 30?
Usually just one, but I'm going to start having two. That's why I'm having more part-time people, so we can have a second person on the floor. But for right now, it's one most of the time.
Well, I'm just wondering if 2,500 square feet gives you the room to run dual classes.
I mean, not the way we have it set up.
Well, maybe talk to the Roanoke guy and see what he did when he, and I'd also talk to Adrian, because I think he's done some promos where he's brought in a considerable number of folks, as I recall. I could be wrong about that, but see what they've done to handle that. Keith, you got any thoughts on that?
The one thing we did, because we do small group training as well as larger team training. So sometimes we do have a small group going on and a team training session going on in 2,500 square feet. But again, there's 15 people over here and 6 over here. So it's, the numbers are still the same. But one thing we always do is when we're getting ready to launch one of these is we make sure the members know we're about to start another 6-week challenge. The spots fill up. We use Zen Planner. Zen Planner will let people schedule their sessions out a month at a time. So I just tell them, go ahead and reserve your spot. And I don't know if your software does that. And just that way, these new people, if the spots, if it's full, it's full. I mean, it's just, and during the interview process with the new people, we have certain times that tend to fill up, and we tell them that. It's like, this may not be available once the 6 weeks gets going, because this always fills up. So,
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is. But I like that solution, getting your members to lock down their spots ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just letting them know. And plus, we also encourage our members to kind of participate in the 6-week thing too, as far as, this is your chance to get back on track and commit to at least 3 days a week and all the stuff we're going to ask the 6-week people to do. Get dialed in on pro diets again and all that kind of stuff, and buy your supplements.
I am now.
Eat those supplements.
So. Okay, I don't have anything else, guys. I appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging on there, Keith and Mike. Aaron.
No problem, man.
It was great, man. Thank you guys for being on the call. Really appreciate it. I've got to get going. We're, like I said, heading up to Gainesville. So go, Hannah, go. Run, Hannah, run. I'll be like Forrest Gump. All right. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Facebook.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.